Us three boys. How are we doing tonight?
Oh man, it's all good.
Good.
Summer. It's summer in New Orleans.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Getting after it is so hot. It's
Whiskey and
ridiculous.
basketball.
It's obnoxiously already hot. I got a good show for you tonight. First off, before we get into it, I want to talk about the Christian Clark article. He came out with a great article today about why the Smoothie King Center needs upgrades, and Adam Silver came out and said that all NBA teams need to have a state-of-the-art facility. And listen, the Smoothie King's very outdated. It was built, I think it was built in the 1999. I think it's for the New Orleans Brass. The Brass used it, and then they had built the Smoothie King Center, the New Orleans Arena at the time, in order to get another professional team, in which the Hornets came and they were successful. And since then, they haven't really upgraded, done much with it. So Lito, I'll start with you. What would you, if you could just upgrade one thing about the arena? It could be sound, video boards, seating.
I hate them fucking blue seats so much.
That's been a very popular answer. That's been a very popular answer.
I hate those seats so much, especially seeing it on television.
It's ugly.
It's terrible. It's like, never mind. It's that seat is the 2 a.m. last call at the bar when you about to go home. Like you looking for a participant. That's that seat. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand.
It's really ugly,
bro. The reason that the seat is the seat, the uniform and the team name changed.
Right. That's actually a really good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
It completely. The Superdome had some really ugly seats too, and they finally upgrade. I know they upgrade the sideline seats to all black. I can't remember exactly what the end zone looks like now, but Ross, I know Christian is like really talked about like how bad the sound is in the stadium as well. They till a couple of years ago, they used to have the arena football. Y'all remember the arena football league when Voodoo was here? They used to have the uprights like still up there. They finally took those down a couple years ago, but they're like old video boards that are still up there that are just completely black during the game. What would you like to see change inside the arena?
Lighting and sound are not great.
Bad.
But for me, it's so I think a few years back they redid the club loge area, like you go get your food and drinks, bathrooms and stuff. Yeah. The other ones that like the non-club, like first floor, is awful to me. Yeah. It's like it just still looks like it did 20 years ago. There's like not a lot of like flash. They've redone it. They've like done things in certain area, like a little patch job here and a little patch job there. But that like going to your seat on the first level, not the bottom floor where you like walk in the team store, not there. The like that upper section where if you want to go eat food, it just is so bland.
That was a popular answer too. A lot of people talk about the concourse being really small, narrow, and also the food.
Food is ass.
How are you in the city of New Orleans? How can you be in the city and not have great food?
How do you be?
Let me ask you this, Leo. What vendor would you like to see in? Oh, there were some good answers. There were some good answers.
Go ahead.
No, that's a tough question because like it's so much good food here.
And that's the problem is I think just generally speaking, people don't understand that it's not like the team isn't going off or whoever manages SMG or whoever manages Smoothie King is not going on these like one-off trips to like Popeyes to see if they want to. It's not. That's just not
wait, why you say that? Why wouldn't Popeyes be in there?
How is Popeyes not in there?
Okay,
like literally.
I understand. Yes, I'm with you. They should be, but they just get one of these like generic like Cisco or whatever food providers and make it work. I've always thought. So right when Ullman opened, they had a lot of like local stuff in there. And I've always thought that was pretty cool. And there's
someone brought up Ullman.
They've always had a better. Like
Chargrove oysters, they got like Acme and they got like Drago
for a while,
or whatever it is.
Yeah, for a while. And so there's other stuff you can do. But yeah, they gotta. I think they need to kind of re-engage the city from that front.
Completely agree. All right, let's get into the actual show. So, Lito, I asked y'all a question about Friday. I was like, "What do y'all want to talk about on this show?" And I loved what you said, and so I'm gonna lead it off with you. Me and you. BI's our guy.
Yeah,
he had a rough stretch there where I thought we were realistic with it. But Brandon in his last 30 games. Yeah. Okay, let's break it down to his. I know games play, whatever. Let's forget that. His last 30 games, averaged 27 points per game, 6.5 assists, 5.7 rebounds, had 2 triple doubles, first 2 triple doubles of his career.
Yep.
4 of those games had double digit assists. What you saw from Brandon, I thought, was great facilitating, getting to his spots, and then rebounding. I thought rebounding, he made it an actual effort to start rebounding. Now, there were some times, some moments, some lapses where he was ball watching his man, he didn't box out. I get that happens. But what did you like from Brandon the last 30 games? And what we're going to talk about here is what you brought up is him working out in New Orleans. And Scoop B came out saying he's ready to have this monster off season. He's been in the gym 2 days. We know he works. It's a kind of a 2-part question. One, what did you like from his last 30 games?
Yeah.
And then what does this mean, him staying in New Orleans, working out, getting after it in the gym?
In his last 30 games, I think you said 27-6 and
27-6 and you can say 6 and round up. Yeah.
All right. I like for me that Brandon has all the intangibles, he has all the tools, he has all the skills that you would want in a player. I'm not gonna call him a clone of KD, but he has that body type. Like if Kevin Durant would be if he's a clone, he would be where he came from, right? Like that type of body type style of play, right? But what I like the assist.
Love the assist.
The assist for me, it showed me that he trusts Trey, he trusts CJ, he trusts whoever's on the floor at the time, even if it's not like a perimeter type player. Like Brandon is really good with the pocket pass, short roll passes. I think for years now we've been enamored with the idea of Brandon Ingram, and I think for the last, I want to say, I've seen it before, but for the last 30 games, I never see him play that type of style with that type of fire. I've never seen him play with that type of focus and passion. He was playing like he had essentially mastered the game. He played like the game was moving very slow for him. He was always 2 steps ahead of what was going to happen next. He saw it. He saw the future, right? And for me, that's very encouraging to see, especially like with the elevation of Trey, with Herb in those last
20 games. He was shooting over 47% from deep.
Right. I think in a playing game, Herb had 20 as well. So for me, seeing that, I think they took a page out of Brandon's book. Brandon instilled confidence in them, and I think the team realized that while Brandon is going to get his, he will find you if you're open. The second part of the question, it was what does it mean for him to be in New Orleans? I think, honestly, listen, I'm gonna be honest, that didn't tell me anything.
Okay.
Because we know who Brandon is. We've heard this before. We hear he's a gym rat. And I'm gonna be brutally honest. I need Brandon and Zion to come to face the congregation. This, again, we're going to talk about draft picks. We're going to talk about, what, not today, but we'll eventually talk about free agency. None of that shit matters if 14 and 1 are healthy. So while he is in the gym, while he's doing his thing, which we know Brandon to do, I know I can't force him to be healthy. And I know he does not want to be healthy. But going forward, right, I want to see them on the floor because none of this matters. At the same time, I haven't heard anything about Zion.
Well, yeah, that's what I was like. Dotson came out and said that Zion's been, and we've heard that Zion's been in New Orleans as well. But that's just another. We talk about it. Zion's not like a big video, like unless he's like windmilling dunking, but he's not a big workout video guy. Neither is Brandon, but you'll hear more from Brandon than Zion. Ross, kind of the same question to you with Brandon.
Wait, before you answer, can I say one thing?
Yeah, of course.
I just want to say this whole season, everything moving forward, this is on them. Those two, they owe the franchise, they owe the fans. Not only that, you talk about why Herb Jones not on the list. They owe Herb. They owe Trey his spot in the national spotlight. Not only that, they owe CJ.
Yeah, they definitely owe CJ. And you made a great point, actually, before I get to you, Ross, is that he instilled confidence in those players. And I think that's important that you said that, because as a leader, as a face, you have to, like, you're looking at what Jimmy Butler's doing right now, right? The Max Strus, the Vincents, the even the Duncan Robinson, okay, who's really struggled this year. You're seeing that he's trusting his guys. And I think down the stretch, you saw that from Brandon, trusting Trey, trusting Herb, trusting CJ, etc. Ross, last 30 games from Brandon, what'd you think of him? And then what does this mean that he's working out in New Orleans? And Scoop B's report.
Yeah, the New Orleans thing means nothing to me. The fact that he's here, I mean, that's great. But he also, like, as I understand it, I think he owns a house here. I mean, like,
North Shore.
Yeah, like he lives here. So, I mean, it's not. Yeah, that to me, it means nothing. But going back to what Lito said, you started off by saying that Brandon has all the tools and intangibles that you'd want, and I think I agree with you on the tools part. And I still have questions about the intangibles. I think I saw a different type of focus those last 30 games, but I need that for a whole year.
Yeah.
And I need him to take another step in terms of toughness. And I need him to take another step in terms of holding his teammates accountable. Like, I don't think he has all everything I need from an intangible standpoint. And for me, that's more important than the basketball part with him, because we saw, like, this year, his highest points per game of his career,
highest assist
of his career, most free throw attempts for his career, highest free throw percentage of his career, highest 3-point percentage, or I think maybe a tenth of I mean, it's like almost. Yeah. I think it might have been the highest, or it might have been like a tenth off 3 points for his career. I think it was his highest or his second highest field goal percentage of his career. Like, he clearly got better when he played. It just goes back to that. Like, I need you to play more. You are a difference maker when you play. I think the one thing from a basketball perspective that I need to see more of, and it's something that, like, I think Chaz has kind of alluded to a handful of times, is that he's got, like, you shot almost 40%, 39, whatever it was, from three this year. I need a higher volume of that, just because it's where the game's going. And I think it'll open up more for what he does in terms of facilitating, for what he likes to do in the mid-range or getting all the way to the basket. I think there needs to be a higher volume of 3-point shots from Brandon this year. I think he only took 3 or maybe not even 4.
That's a great talking point about Brandon. We talk about this. Shout out to the Ryan Hates Bagels guy, Lito, because he's been on the train of, like, get away from the 3-ball thing. But I feel like this is the way the game has been going towards.
If you're watching the playoffs, like, what you're saying, what Ross is saying, that is you can't be on the floor.
Right. But what I'm saying, though, is that Brandon clearly isn't. He is a mid-range killer, right? We know that's what he is. So I guess I'll start with Lito and Ross to present the question is, do you want to do, hey, Brandon, you need to take 5 threes a game. Well, I'm not comfortable taking 5 threes a game. What if he's not comfortable taking 5 threes?
It's only 2 more threes.
But I understand that in the grand scheme of things, but, like, getting up, like, thinking like, shit, I got 3-point attempts tonight. I need to get up to 6. Like, does that, like, factor? Would that affect his game? Is, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
I think that needs to be. That is a 2-party situation. It's on Brandon, but it's on the staff to reinforce it and to remind him, hey, you only have X amount of threes. Like, we need you to up it in the next half. Here's the other thing too. If you look at every superstar, minus probably Giannis, who has won a championship in the last 5 years, you got mid-range scorers who will take and make threes. Kawhi Leonard.
Well, I think you've seen even Jimmy's been doing in the playoffs, but Jimmy's not really a big 3-point guy. But
he's shooting at least 4 though,
right?
Maybe 4.
Okay.
But I'll tell you this: the thing I've noticed about Jimmy's threes, Jimmy normally shoots them in the fourth. Doesn't take them in the first half. So he kind of takes them when he has to.
Okay. I mean, then do y'all expect Zion to take threes?
I think it's a totally no, yes and no, but it for me it's a totally different style of play. Like, Brandon is a very, very good mid-range shooter. He's a elite free throw shooter. Like, this isn't me telling a random player, hey, I need you to get up more. It's really, hey, get up more shots. And to the extent that we can get him more open looks from 3, because let's be honest, Brandon takes some tough ass mid-range shots, like some tough, and now he makes them, most of the time, but he takes some really tough contested shots. And my thought is maybe there's going to be, if you'll spread where you're starting from, right, from the point of attack out another 2 steps, maybe you either get more room to operate, or maybe you knock down a couple more threes.
Because that's what I say. If you knock down a couple, now the defense has to respect that, and then it becomes legitimately
as opposed to as opposed to dribbling into a lot of like contested twos.
Sure. No, I mean, I listen. It's fair points.
I'm looking at Kawhi Leonard, like Kawhi Leonard's 2019 Finals against the Warriors. He was averaging 6 threes a game. You don't even think of Kawhi shooting that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a fair point. I just think that he's got to be, comfortable doing it. Like, I'm not going to tell a player, "Hey, you got to shoot 6 threes a game," and like he doesn't want to do it. Like, well, then
yeah, but I think you're.
But
you're
no, they made that an emphasis in the second half of Brandon, and he still didn't really do it.
But I think it was the now you're getting into roster construction, right? Like,
sure,
in theory, Zion playing opens up the rest of the floor. Like, and so he should get more open looks whenever Zion plays, but it just goes back to the whole thing. Like, the biggest thing for Brandon is intangible. Is you got to play more. Like, we got to, and that part of that is toughness. Part of that is come back and play. It just.
No, I agree. I want to wrap it up with this. We'll start with Lito, then go to Ross. I've now seen him get 2 triple doubles. I've seen it. I've seen him literally go hunt rebounds, go get others involved, right? He can do it. Now, am I saying does he need to drop 20 triple doubles a year? No. But he should be able to, I guess Lito say about 5 to 7 a year. Is that fair? Triple doubles where he's literally taking over the game because he's that talented?
I mean, again, the idea of Brandon Ingram should lead you to that shouldn't even be a thing. Like, this should not have been, in my mind, this should not have been his first. I know he had an opportunity in LA. I think he was like a rebound or something away.
He's had a couple here too, like where he's like a rebound or assist away.
I think that, like,
and I'm not saying he needs to average triple doubles and things like that. But what I'm saying is, like, when you need his best, right? When you need him to take over a game or win a game, I need you to fill up the stat sheet.
I need you to do everything.
Right. I need you to
be the best Brandon Ingram. Yeah, like, I need you to be the best Brandon Ingram. And I again, I don't think we saying this as a diss to Brandon. I think we fully expect and think that Brandon is as good as we think he is. But in order to do that, for instance, the 40-point game, I it's shocking to me that would he have one in before this year?
He had one against Utah. It was like 3 years ago, right? When he hit the game winner, I think he had 45.
To me, the way he can score in an efficient manner, that's shocking to me that he would only have one. and again, that's not a diss. I'm saying he scores the ball so well, and I get it. Like, it's not been easy for him to score based on who's on the floor and how he's getting defended. But I think, to Ross's point, right? Sometimes if he's facing a box and one or whatever right there, the 3 is right there, which is probably the easier shot for him to take. It necessarily like having to take on 5 defenders at one time.
No, I mean, listen,
and when he's playing, Justin, when he's playing the way he played those last 30 games, it allows you to start thinking about the roster in a different way, right? The same way you think about rosters with Paul George on them, or with LeBron on them, or with these guys that can facilitate, maybe not as a true point guard, but it changes the type of guard that you then can play with them.
Yeah.
Right. You can play a scoring guard, a Reggie Jackson type that they've had, that kind of started alongside some of those guys, the variety of point guards you've seen play with LeBron. And I'm not saying that Ingram is that, tier of player, but I'm saying the style of play opens it up to even somebody like a Jokic that does a lot of working from the elbows, facilitating, playing with Jamal Murray. Like, you can now go find, and CJ, I guess, is kind of that type of point guard, or, lead guard or whatever you want to call him. But it allows you to start looking at the roster in a different way. Like, do you need a quote unquote true point guard if you have Zion who can facilitate a little bit, Brandon who proved that, like, hey, I think it'll allow you to do some different things if those guys can stay healthy.
And I've been driving that train, like, they need a true point guard. But then I saw Brandon in his last 30 games. I'm like, we've had numerous conversations like, holy, like, shit, this dude can this dude is the point guard. Like Brandon's the point guard. Just get him the ball and get the fuck out the way kind of thing. And I think that Brandon has, like, you see it with Brandon, Lito. I agree. Like, he loved the idea of him. And, like, that's why I think that this year, I feel like I say this all the time, but, like, I think this is his most important year.
I think
this
is
his most important
I think
year.
This is the franchise's
100%. I think this is David Griffin's most important year. I think it's
Yeah.
Willie Green. I think it's Brandon. It's definitely Zion. I mean, the list goes on and on. Besides like the sophomore or the juniors now, but
let me say this: I think that when you have these type of dynamic players on your roster, the Jamal Murrays, the Devin Bookers, the guys like that, you don't necessarily need a point guard because the gravity that they work with, that they work within. The ball has energy, right? Like you look at Jokic, that dude is fucking like let me say this. I am so sorry to the Denver Nuggets that I said I would rather play.
You should probably. You know what, Ross. Jared? Five apologize. You gotta talk to the mic, Lito. See, you gotta talk to the mic. Five apologize to you.
Yo, Ross told us. That was preseason, right?
Yeah. We all made fun of him. Never forget it.
We all made fun of Ross, and Ross was talking his Denver Nuggets shit. And I was like, we all were like, nah, man, hell no. There's no way. Nah, it's no way possible. And I want to apologize to Ross. And not only that, I want to apologize to the Denver Nuggets because I said that y'all would be an easier matchup for us than the Sacramento Kings. And I want to let y'all know that I was fucking out of my mind. I was crazy. There's no way in hell we wouldn't have beat either one, but nah.
You know what? Mad respect to you for owning up, because a lot of people don't do that. Mad respect to you for owning up and apologizing. Let's present to you, presented by Company Burger. Look at 4600 for that treat. And DraftKings, great burger. Ross, we'll start with you. I did a breakdown on who I want at 14. I'm interested to see who you think will be available at 14. We're not talking trade. We're saying if the Pelicans keep number 14. We've heard Jet Howard, we've heard Hawkins, we've heard maybe Keontae, we've heard a couple others, maybe your boy from Santa Clara, Podzimski. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
It's a good try.
Yeah, what is that right?
Podzimski, yeah, that's right.
I think it's Podzimski, right? Yeah, it is. Who do you want to see at 14? Who? Because Lito presented a question today, but I've been talking about it. Like people want a rim protector. No. There's no rim protection at 14.
No, and I'm glad you said that because I don't necessarily want to go into the who I think we're going to get or anything. It's more of
what do we need?
Yeah. Well, yes and no, right? I don't think. Yeah, it's a like. Don't go get the idea of something. Like I want us to go get. I think one of the things that this team desperately needs is like a bench microwave scorer.
Well, I know who fits that mold, but go ahead.
And so there's like two things I want. I either want that or I want a legitimate shooter. If that's the same type of person, great. If it's not, that's fine too. But I either want a guard shooter or I want a guard / wing. Like, hey, I need buckets. Like I saw too many times this year when either Brandon was out or Zion was out, or even sometimes when they were in, where that second unit could just go icicle cold and just not be able to generate a look. And every team, for the most part, like, and it's more of a regular season thing, I think, than like a playoff thing. But there's just some times in the regular season where like you just need that dude off the bench that's just going to come and give you 24, 25, a random night, right? Like, and I'm not saying this needs to be the best player in the world. I'm not here looking for like if you stumble into a difference maker, awesome. But for me, those are that's the type of thing I hope we are looking to evaluate. Don't go get me some I don't need another defender. I need somebody that can shoot or someone that can come in and just get buckets. Especially if we're staying with the same coaching staff.
It's funny you said that, Ross, because I couldn't agree more with you. Because I got crushed, Lito. I did a video on Keontae, the guard out of Baylor, and people were like, "We don't need guards. We don't need guards. We don't need more guards." And I'm like, this guy he can score. Like I'm not saying that we're going to get him, but I like microwave scorer. And we talked. I mean, I think Lito and I are on the same page. But the kid from UConn, Hawkins, who I just I mean, you want some off-ball movement. You want somebody a guy can score, shoot, spacer, etc.
Yeah.
That's who I'm targeting. But I mean, I've seen that he can go at 11. I think he can go at 18. He can go at 12. He can go 9. Like
that's the problem.
That's the problem. And so now, Lito, you start hearing rumblings of obviously Portland with number 3, Dallas with number 10. I don't think it's a draft that you move up in, especially in the Pelicans state. But what do you think, Lito?
I mean, I think 1, 2, 3 are a lock. 1, 2, and 3 are a lock. Regardless if you pick Brandon Miller before Scoot, you know who going 1, right? I think those 3 are a lock. I tried to do a so this is what I know. You asked me, like, I know the Pelicans' needs are shooting and rim protection. You can never have enough shooting, right?
Never.
You're not gonna find rim protection in this draft unless you're going for Zach Edey or the kid from I can't think of the kid's name.
But even then, though, when is a rookie at a center position impacted?
That's what I was gonna say. It's gonna take at least. It's gonna take at least.
He's like the one-off.
He's the one.
It's actually a really good point.
He's the one-off. I think that I think that people need to understand that though. Like, he's gonna be at least 4. You're gonna have Jackson Hayes again
as a 19-year-old.
As a 19-year-old. So I did a simulation. I did like 4 different simulations of players that would be available from 10 to 18.
Okay.
Just to try to cover all grounds of like who could be available. So what I found was these names kept coming up in any particular order. Kobe Buffkin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 6'4". He averaged 14 a game, 4.5 rebounds, 2.9 assists. He shot 35% from 3. He can get to the rim. He's strong. He was a better shooter as the season progressed. His cons, he was the best defensive player on that team, but he's a gambler.
Okay.
And as a guard coming into the NBA, I would want him to have more focused instincts rather than being a complete, like, just staying in front of your guy, just playing the whole possession. Right. This guy also kept coming up, and I want to say this. These are not guys I'm necessarily endorsing. I'm just saying these are
who might be available.
Who might be available at 14. Bryson Sensabaugh.
Okay. I've seen this name a couple times. I have not looked at it.
Listen,
where's he from?
He's from Ohio State.
Okay.
So you talk about a scorer, man can score. Man can score the ball. Like, his draft comps to me will probably be like bubble TJ Warren. Like
bubble
TJ Warren. He was amazing. The dude could flat out score. He could get his shots up. He a tough shot maker. He isn't bothered by defense. He's 6'6" and he's like 230. Right. He is good for work. He loves to beat up on smaller guards on the block. He's a 3-level shot maker. To be honest, this guy to me doesn't have many offensive weaknesses. But here's the thing about him. If we got to talk about the good, we got to talk about the bad. This motherfucker do not like passing the ball. Like, he's a black hole when it comes to passing the ball. He's a bad athlete. He's terrible on defense. The other guy that kept, there's a couple of guys, right? I'm not high on this kid, but he has lottery potential in Jalen Hood, Shafino. He's a good mid-range scorer. He can create off the dribble, good rebounder, good athlete. He scored 35 to beat Purdue as a freshman. That was the highlight of his season. His cons, and this is why it wouldn't work for me. He's a reluctant shooter. His questionable shot selection, and he had a very inconsistent year. I get he was a freshman, but
we can't draft projects.
You can't draft
No projects, for the love of God. Go ahead.
So listen, getting to a guy who's not going to be a project, Chris Murray.
Really? I didn't think that was coming out of your mouth. I thought you were going to go Jet. I've watched film at Chris. Obviously love his older brother.
Solid shooter, solid defender, older prospect. He's going to be 23 at the time of the draft.
Which the Pelicans love. Not a bad athlete. Kind of
sneaky athletic, crafty finisher around the rim. Good offensive rebounder, average 2 offensive rebounds a game, 7.9 rebounds a game. He will cut from the perimeter, which is something that only one other person on this team does.
You're talking about the guy that's the main problem on the offensive side?
Yep, that guy. Okay. Yep. High IQ guy, decent pull-up midi.
Doesn't shoot the 3.
Who that?
Well.
Chris?
Yeah.
Man, so listen, this is the thing.
Okay.
This is the thing. He can shoot over smaller players. I think I think he's not a big splash, but he will be a rotational player in the NBA for a while, right? And he's a versatile defender. You said he can't shoot the three. I think
I'm sorry. That struggle shooting 3 in his last year.
I think he's a streaky shooter. His shot is not his brother's shot. But listen, Justin. This year he had a game of 30 points, 20 rebounds, 4 assists. He made 4 threes and had 2 blocks.
I'm not saying Chris Murray is a bad selection. I'm not saying he's a bad selection, but I just need a 3-point shooter on the team.
Again, this is not an
that's
endorsement.
What I need. I know it's not an endorsement, but like I think of Jordan Hawkins. I think I don't care about defense. Like as to your point, Ross, I don't care about defense. I don't care. Like I need a shooter
for sure.
I have defenders on my team. Like we selected Dyson Daniels at 8. Like I don't need another defender.
Listen,
any guy can score.
I got 2 more people.
All right,
2 more people. Keontae George.
I like Keontae.
Keontae George is
kind of like a bulldog.
He averaged 15 a game. He had like 4 rebounds. He's a volume shooter. He's not
efficient at all.
If you watch him play, you clearly see Steph Curry is his favorite player. The way he plays the game, Steph Curry, he grew up watching Steph Curry, right? Super confident. The thing about him is he shot 150 free throws this year. I think that was 6 in the Big 12. When he gets to the NBA, when he gets on, he's going to eventually live at the line.
I had that in my scouting report. He plays downhill.
He plays downhill.
And we don't have
no creation off the dribble.
Well, we don't have a downhill player.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. I guess Zion would be the downhill player.
Yeah, but
in terms
of it's a different like down. It's
as
different,
a guard, exactly.
Right,
Like Ross said, as a guard, like we have no creation.
And like you know what else about Alito? He loves contact. I mean, you want to talk about a guy like I hate. Once again, I think I've said this a million times. I hate the guys that like do the little sweep through and like get the little foul. Like you know what I'm saying? Like Reeves that has been really doing with the Lakers, but like he does that. Like you need a guy. We have nobody. Like you know who the best guy is on our team that does that? It's JV. Like does the stupid sweep throughs and like all that kind of different kind of stuff. But Keontae does that at a high level.
He has his cons. He a chucker.
He's not efficient. That's what scares me. He's a chucker.
He's a chucker. My
last guy?
My last guy, Maxwell Lewis.
You got a little cough on you today.
And my daughter got me sick.
Gosh, welcome. You've been there a couple times.
Kids,
yeah,
for 3 years of it.
Maxwell Lewis, man. Maxwell Lewis. He averaged 19 a game as a freshman. He shot a 50, 40, 84 split. Athletic wing, good catch and shoot guy, good rebounder. Shot 36 from 3 during the season. Cons, bad defender. Hold on. Listen, let me get this off.
That's my guy.
Yeah, I did a scouting report on him too.
I think he's a guy who's going to shoot up draft.
I think he got so much potential.
I think he does too.
Do y'all think he's kind of slow?
I don't think he's like that. I don't think he is. He's kind of slow in the same way that like if you thought Trey was slow though. It's just a long-legged thing. I don't think he's slow.
If you're asking me like, does he have a burst? Or is he
like, is he creating
slow-footed?
Separation? Like, I'm not saying he's a guard, but
listen, he's not gonna need the separation because of who's gonna be on the floor.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, he's got a good height. 6'7", 195.
There's some guys like too. You just
I watched film on him.
Like
I liked him a lot
because
I worry about competition though. Like play Pepperdine.
I don't worry about it.
I do.
I mean, it's not like he played at like D2 or something. Like,
no, I'm not saying but he's playing against like Pacific and like Lamar.
He's playing against the same people Jalen Williams just played against and came in the NBA and busted people's ass. But the thing is, when you watch, like, because I thought it's funny, y'all. We just talked about the Keontae George guy because I watched the film I watched. Sometimes, even though yes, you come away with the takeaway of like some of these are bad shots. But some guys just look impressive. Like I thought the first guy, I thought the guy from Michigan, like I watched, the guard, the first guy.
Bufkin.
Yeah. Like I watched Bufkin. I didn't like, he didn't look good. Like
I watched 2 hours. If your name's be Kobe, like
I watched 2 hours of him and was just like,
Kobe with an eye.
Just okay. Like he just like, there's nothing that's and there's some other guys. Forget whether they made the shots or not. Like, there's other guys that just like, damn, this dude kind of pops off the screen. Like, it just looks good.
Keontae's a guy like that.
Like,
Keontae pops.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Keontae, even though it's like, there's some bad shots in there, and that's stuff that you clean up. I mean, he's 18 years old and playing in the Big 12. And no shit, there's some bad shots.
Oh, I thought you were gonna keep going.
No, I'm just saying it's like I'm saying it's about Maxwell Lewis, Keontae. There were certain guys you watch where I'm like, yeah, like that guy just looks talented.
Let's get back with Maxwell because I want to hear I kind of cut you off, Lito, but I have watched this film. I thought he was impressive. I like the way he uses his body. I actually like his shot. I like his form.
So do I.
I watch form a
It's
lot.
clean.
So do
I don't watch so back to your Keontae point.
Mhm.
He shot, I think, like 40% from the field, 33%
But his
from
form is nice.
Looks good. That's
his form.
Yes.
I'm looking.
when
I
you
go
clean up shot selection on him, and it's going to be a different.
I
play.
go, ooh, like that's clean. It's nice. Like even with Dyson, I think Dyson has nice form.
He
It's
does
just
have a
not
nice
going
form.
with it.
But
Like,
you know
Dyson's
the
It's a little
problem.
robotic.
It's a little robotic.
It's very slow.
Yeah, it's too like if you get caught in a pinch, right? If you get a bad pass or like
It's
like
a
you're
little
coming
robotic.
off, you can't shoot. But Keontae,
You know what I think it is? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's fine.
I think it's more of him thinking.
Oh, for sure.
I think
People
it's
don't
him
even look at the
thinking
goal.
game.
Like,
Yeah.
I think Dyson really needs G League. I'm not saying Dyson's a bad player. I think he needs some G League reps. But let's get back to Maxwell Lewis because Maxwell is actually an interesting prospect. Ross, I know you really like him. Lito, go ahead. I lost my breath there in the last.
No, you good. I mean, it was just impressive what he did as a freshman. As a freshman, he was the best player on that Pepperdine team.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think he shot. He was high 30s, all damn near 40 from three. 6'7". He uses a pump fake well. He's got a good jab step. He can score. The thing too for me, he can score in a move.
Yeah.
I saw him in like action, and he shoots over.
Yeah.
Defenders. It wasn't a problem. Like he takes difficult shots.
And you know what else?
I love
Like,
the way he attack closeout.
that, and also like he's a 6'7" guard. Like he's just another 6'7". Instead of like, and no shot at, no disrespect, but like the Kyras and the Jose's, and like we're pretty small there. Like we, as I think J-Dub said, like I need a 6'6", 6'7" guy.
That's today's NBA, man.
That's today's NBA, and that's why Trey Murphy. You're like holy shit. Like Trey like pops off. He's 6'6", or what is? Oh, sorry, 6'10".
Trey probably.
Sorry,
6'10",
6'10", right?
Yeah.
But he's lanky, he's long. He can do like Maxwell. Kind of reminds me a little bit of.
I'm gonna say this.
I said that right after the thing. I'm telling you,
Hey,
look, like you watch it, it's not a comparison of the player. I'm not saying
Right.
Maxwell Lewis is going to be Trey Murphy, but when you watch, it's like you see these things, and it may just be because we watch the Pelicans so much. It's like our mind immediately goes to that type of player, but it looks like there are things he does that look like that.
I'm gonna say this. My preferred pick will probably be Jordan Hawkins.
Yeah. Who's he remind you of? Shout out 5.
Man, he got Ray Allen written all over him, man. He just
Who said that today? It was Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler said that shit today. I'm gonna say this about Lewis though. There is no science to drafting players.
No,
but he feels like a safe pick.
He feels like a guy that, like, yeah, I agree with you. He's safe. Like he's not going to be like a bust. Like he can be a player. You know what I'm saying?
Because if he doesn't do anything else well, he can already shoot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
he's got the length. Like he can.
And he. I know you don't. You started it off by saying you don't necessarily care about defense, but he defends well. He gets deflections. He blocks shot. He's sneaky. He's sneaky athletic. Like he'll catch you slipping. And I think that if he does nothing else well, his shot profile is going to translate immensely, especially to a team like us.
Yeah. And things like I agree, Leo. And things that we have to think about, like especially with a guy like Maxwell Lewis who played at Pepperdine. No shot towards Pepperdine, but like I can guarantee you, every coach when they play Pepperdine, hey, stop number 24 for Pepperdine. Like the entire defense is focused right on him.
The thing that caught me, I did some research on him. The thing that caught me off guard was he decided to forego his senior year of high school to specifically train for college.
Really?
He decided to not play basketball. He trained to play college basketball.
I'm glad you brought that up. Another thing about Keontae that I love, and maybe this guy too, this kid Maxwell, like I need like a junkyard like dog.
Yeah, animal.
That's why you love Scoot. Like I was like, hey, Scoot is like Scoot the guy, but Scoot is
a generational talent.
No, stop. You've already called Chet. I mean, I haven't even seen Chet.
I've never said he was not I've never said he was a generational talent. I've never said Chet.
Bro,
was.
we were sitting in Vegas and you were literally stayed for fucking Chet, and I was like, this is like one of the worst performances ever.
You
like
trip. Yo, he was going crazy.
He was not. It was terrible basketball. He's just I'm
gonna say this. Shout out to Irie Clark, man. I got to get you here. But he at that summer league, at that summer league game, watching Chet, but watching Jalen Williams, it was very evident very early on who Jalen Williams was gonna be.
Yeah,
and it's like bro, this is a Pelican show, but I'm just speaking logically. If you look at this Thunder team and you see who they adding back and like man, you gonna have to deal with them.
Great segue into our last segment. This is a Ross topic. God, I feel bad for you, man. I told you it was coming. Right? Once they go to the nurseries or once they go daycare, like it's done. Ross, yes. Western Conference outlook for next year. There are a lot of questions. Let's go through them. Portland said they want to give up number 3. They want to try to build around Dame. Then you got Dallas and Kyrie. That's an interesting situation right there. You got the Lakers. Will Kyrie go to Los Angeles? Okay. You obviously have Denver. Other teams. OKC's on the rise. Okay. Who are some teams that are like Sacramento, right? Can Sacramento repeat that same performance they had this year?
If Houston gets a James Harden.
Houston gets a James Harden. Is Golden State is Draymond go? There are a lot of questions, right? Okay, so let's talk about the Western Conference and the outlook this year. If the Pelicans can stay healthy, if they can get Zion, they get Brandon back, they get a healthy CJ, which a lot of people are not talking about. Where are we at? What can we do moving forward?
So Denver is pretty entrenched, right? I think most of their guys are coming back. Like as long as Jokic and Murray and Michael Porter are there, like they're going to be really good. I think Memphis is going to have some changes.
I forgot about Memphis. That was another Memphis. Ja. I mean, is he suspended half a season, full season? There's a lot of questions.
Sounds like Dylan Brooks is gone. Like, is it? So there's definitely questions there. You don't think there's questions there?
No. No. That wasn't it. I think there's questions there. This is. I don't mean to get. This is my only question. Dylan Brooks was told that he was not coming back under any means necessary. Because he talks shit to LeBron? Is that like what is?
I think there's more to that. I personally,
I think he became a distraction. I think.
Okay.
That they didn't want and a distraction for what? Like
he also probably wants to get paid.
Yeah, like a replaceable distraction.
I mean, he gonna go to a team. He's gonna go to a contender.
Oh yeah, and I think
he'll be a solid player. Yeah,
absolutely. People are like Dylan Brooks. Why were the Pelicans signed to him? I'm like, hold up, guys. Like I'm not saying Dylan's
14 a game the last 3 years.
Dylan's I wouldn't mind Dylan on my team.
His shooting fell off a cliff this year, but
yeah, I mean he did some stupid stuff, but I kind of love his mentality. But go ahead, Ross.
Yeah, he strikes me as the type of guy that ends up in Miami or something on a below market deal.
Probably will thrive.
And does well. And so you start thinking about some of those teams. Obviously, Sacramento, I think again, kind of entrenched with what they have, but it's really those teams like Portland. Jeremy Grant's coming off the books, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I look at some of those teams. Portland, what does Houston look like? They've stunk.
If James Harden gets
they've stunk for 4 or 5, however many years now. But if Harden goes there, they have the number 4 pick. Maybe they don't even make that pick, right? Maybe they do something else.
Can I cut you off real quick?
Yeah.
Get some Alito because I think that James Harden and Jabari Smith would be really, really good. But go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's a team that could, I think, take a Oklahoma City size jump from like what OKC did last year to this year.
Okay.
I think if Harden goes there, all the young guys have another year.
Who you got to move one of them young guys, right? Like
you get Kevin Porter out of there. That's addition by subtraction in and of itself.
All right.
You came in quick there.
He's a trash player.
Phoenix and Clippers. Phoenix got a lot.
Phoenix is that's what I'm saying. So you start. Those are 2 of the teams that when I start
Phoenix is old and they have a lot of money, and they got an Ayton problem.
They got an aggressive owner though.
Yeah, but
maybe too aggressive.
I think
way too aggressive.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead. I mean, that's all.
No, I was just gonna say I think them firing Monty Williams was a mistake.
It was so stupid.
It was a mistake. You know what? I feel like Bud should have been fired. But in the same breath, look at a team like Denver, right? Where they've had playoff hiccups for I think Mike Malone. I think in year 3 he didn't make the playoffs, and there was rumbling that he was on the outs there. But if you look at what when an ownership group has patience and they allow
continuity,
they allow you to build, man.
And there's something to be said for that, right? We talked about it a little bit this year, and then everybody ended up getting hurt. But there's something to be said for knowing what's coming back, and this is the only yes, I want to see changes for us at the coaching level, or at least additions to the staff.
Okay.
Yeah, additions to the staff. But there's something to be said for just the continuity of being we're coming back. Same owner, same GM, same coaches. almost all of the same core pieces. And I feel like that's kind of where Denver has been. And yeah, they had some hiccups in the playoffs, but one of those years, Jamal Murray was hurt. I feel like one of those years, Michael Porter was hurt. And so it's like,
and then one of those years,
shit just breaks right.
And
like,
one of those years during the pandemic year, like playing in Denver's a bitch. Like that is a huge advantage to them.
And so it's like, there's just there's some of those things that, people have said it this year. Well, if everybody stays healthy, like who knows what could happen. And while that's frustrating to me for certain reasons, it's also, there is a level of truth to it. And you saw that with Denver this year. Like nobody really missed any games and they were the clear 1 seed and they've still got their whole team healthy and they're just rolling through the playoffs. And it's like, there's something to be said for your best players just playing all the time and having the same coach and the same staff and the same system. And yeah, year after year, assuming that you've got some of the right things in place, like it can lead to a year like what Denver's having. Phoenix is a big question mark. Golden State, I think, has a lot of question marks. The Clippers are going to be good again, assuming everybody comes back and is healthy, but they have the same issues I think we have. Like, can Paul George and Kawhi Leonard play a whole season anymore? I think that's an unquestioned no.
And so that's what I wanted to, I guess y'all hone in on your entire thesis here is that y'all think that the West is gettable. From what today, what's today? May 21st. The West next year is gettable. Why are you smiling? There's a lot of questions on a lot of teams. There's a lot of questions. And listen, the Pelicans have a lot of questions. Okay,
we fall.
The Pelicans have a lot of questions. Like I'm not saying that.
For me, we fall into the Clipper. The same thing with the Clippers. If you could sit here before the season and say,
and we're way younger though,
and we are younger, but if you could sit here and say like, hey, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard they're gonna play 70 games next year, not 82. They're gonna play 68 to 70 regular season games and be healthy going into the playoffs. Most people are gonna be like, shit, that's a championship contender.
And I forget they have a big Russell Westbrook question too. I got crushed for this. I would take Russell Westbrook on our team. I'm going on saying it on the airways. I said that before but when he was on the Lakers, I said that.
I've never seen a man have a 3 for 16 game and change the outlook of a playoff game before.
He's once again junkyard dog, does everything. Tries it.
I just think he's a California
I'm not the
guy
Pelicans. The Pelicans aren't gonna get him.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
No, I'm just saying, but like they have a big question. There's a lot of questions in the Western.
There is. Minnesota's, I think, another big one. Like
what are they gonna do with Cat Gobert? Like that didn't work.
Well, okay. Let me. You good? You done?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna just go down the top, right? Sorry, man. I'm gonna go down the top. Denver a lot. Denver is gonna be who they are. I think with them, if you look at what they did, they made little moves. They signed up Bruce Brown, right? The guy who's gonna be gritty and do the junkyard dog things.
KCP was a great signing.
I thought they traded.
Oh, they traded for him?
Yeah.
Sorry. Either way, they got him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a minimalist like type, move. But I think the Grizz. I know job missing games is like a thing, but to me, I don't think they're gonna miss a beat because if you look at he missed 25 games the year before last.
I just think the situation around Ja's a lot. I'm not saying that like injury is a different thing. I think the situation around Ja and like who knows?
When I say not miss a beat, I mean I think they'll still make the playoffs.
When Ja came back, I thought that was the worst thing that could have happened for him. In my opinion.
I agree.
Because I thought Jones was doing a really good job at the point.
He's gonna keep him. He's gonna keep him afloat, for sure. I think the Kings are real. I think the Kings.
I don't
really.
I really don't. I don't think the Kings are real.
Wow. Why is that?
I don't either.
I think Sabonis I thought Sabonis got completely exposed in the playoffs. And I'm not saying Fox is a bad player. I think Fox is a good player, but I think like I'm interested to see will Murray have that. I think he can have that type of year again.
I said
they
this
got a
and nobody.
Western Conference.
And I said this the whole like countless times, and it just went in one ear and out the other. If anyone knows it, we should know it. Health matters. Go look at how many games our starting five played together. I think it's like 75 or 76. Like everyone in their starting lineup, I think played either 75 or 76 games. Like no one missed a game other than like De'Aaron Fox missed like 4 or 5. I'm serious. Go look at it.
And you know what? Actually,
like
pointed
when
out
your whole fucking starting lineup plays every game, like you're going to be.
And that's another thing with the Nuggets.
That good.
The Nuggets were like really healthy. I know Jokic had his little thing at the end of the year, but like they were healthy. The Kings were healthy. The Warriors were not healthy.
Every game.
That's interesting.
Like 75 or 76 games, they ran the same starting lineup.
I would pray for 75.
Think about that. 75 or 76 games. That's almost every game of the whole season. They ran the same starting lineup out there.
And I think this is the most games that Jokic has missed. Like Jokic doesn't
miss like what 8?
He doesn't miss games. Yeah. Like he's a dude machine. I'm gonna say this. Sabonis needs to spend some time in understanding he has a right hand. Pause. And I think that like, yo, you can't allow. I feel what you're saying. I feel what y'all saying about that. But I think Fox's talent, along with the integration of Monk, pushes that team because they have.
You think Monk has?
I think, dog. You said a microwave, right? He a microwave.
I know. I like Monk.
He a microwave.
You liked Monk 2 years ago.
He's exactly the guy I want coming off my bench next year. Go find me in the draft. Whatever you think is the closest thing to Malik.
He heartless. He don't care who in front of him. Like, yo, you seen the shit he was talking to Steph? Like, he was going crazy. I think Keegan Murray is going to take a step because I think the thing with Keegan Murray is this is Keegan Murray. Like, there is nothing that has to change about his game.
Harrison Barnes is probably gone though.
Yeah, bro. You know the crazy thing. You realize Harrison Barnes is only 30 years old.
God, he looks like he's 40,
and he's not even 30 yet. He's 29.
He looked 30 in college.
I did not know that.
He's bro. Like he's had 3 different NBA lives.
He really had. It's funny.
And then the best part of the whole thing is like him not inviting Draymond Green to his wedding, but inviting Steph and Clay.
Well, he thinks Draymond got him traded for KD. I mean, it's KD.
I mean, yeah, I would do that.
I'd trade.
I actually would. We were on record saying we would trade a lot of people.
I have no love for anybody when it comes to getting the player I want. Like, I don't feel like nobody's. If it's the best player available, I don't think anybody's in touch.
Can I know it was coming off the calf thing, but like I thought KD looked old in the playoffs.
He did.
Dude, the entire everybody besides Devin Booker looks old.
He did.
I thought
Suns. I think the Suns are going to be I don't even see a coach go like they're saying they're trying to pry. Was it Ty Lue? Mm-hmm. Like Ty Lue's a great coach. I don't see him fixing that situation.
I don't think they need much of a fixing.
I don't know how much there is to fix.
I was about to say,
if Chris Paul comes back next year and they just basically roll back with the same like 4 or 5.
You think that team's good?
I do.
I think so.
I mean, what you call not good? You don't think they're going to the playoffs?
Yeah, like what do you?
How many games are you penciling Chris Paul and Kevin Durant?
Like as many as they played this year.
They're gonna win 50 games.
Yeah, like as many as they played this year. However many that was. Durant was hurt half the year, and Chris Paul missed his normal 20 games.
Imagine if Kevin Durant and Chris Paul miss over 15, 20 games. Who are they playing? Who's coming off the bench? They have literally nobody. Nobody. No, you can't.
But that's what
Shamit, like
no. So look, that's what I'm saying about their owner. I think their owner doesn't mind going into the luxury tax. Like he will do it, bro. And listening to him talk, he's gonna do whatever is necessary to build a contending team like year by year.
That sounds nice. I wish.
I mean,
must be nice.
I think the Clippers going right back. I think they said they want Chris Paul back. So
Clippers want CP3?
No. I'm sorry. The Suns. I'm sorry. The Suns.
I was like, what?
Suns want Chris Paul back. The Clippers. The Clippers are us.
You know, that's a really good point. I feel like the Clippers are us.
Clippers
and you know what?
They're just a few years like down the road.
Yeah. Because
Dallas
I think Dallas is screwed.
I think Dallas isn't good, and I think they're screwed.
Dude, could you imagine? I was telling Lita, they gave up Finney Smith. Help me out here. Oh my God. Dinwiddie, a first round unprotected in 2029, and I think 2 second rounds for 3 months of Kyrie Irving, in which they didn't make the playoffs, and then Kyrie's probably gonna leave to go to Los Angeles.
Even if he doesn't,
what is Luka? What is Luka thinking?
I think even if Kyrie comes back, like I don't think that.
They're not that good, and they're gonna lose Christian Wood. Who cares? But like they said, like they might be
he's still a guy that played 25, 30 minutes for you. And
what I'm saying though is like I heard they're interested in DeAndre Ayton. Ayton has a huge contract with Luka's contract. If you lose Kyrie, you're still money's tied in those two players a lot. There's a lot of questions. So we are debuting. This is Lala's idea. We're debuting tweets, mean tweets, funny tweets, whatever it may be. This weekend, shout out Jake Hardy, who does a great job. Pelicans Report and Boot Crew Media.
We got a new segment.
New segment. So Lito had come out with a comment talking about how Miles Turner never had a Herb Jones defender and Herb Jones never had a rim protector like Miles Turner. Quote tweet. Oh shoot, my mic was muted. Now I'm hearing. Sorry, I'm hearing doubles. Sorry. Thank you. Wow. Lito came out and said this about Miles Turner, and how he's never had a Herb Jones defender. Herb Jones never had a Miles Turner rim protector. This guy said, Lito and Chris are the only smart ones in the Pro Pels Talk podcast. He's wasting his talent like Kevin Garnett on the Wolves. I was calling Lito KG.
Oh, I think I like that big ticket. Call him the big ticket. That's crazy. From now on, Lito's the big ticket. Change your Twitter name to the big ticket.
The big ticket.
I'm gonna do that tonight.
Yo, the big ticket. That guy hates
shout out. Who that was? Who was that?
Otto.
Shout out to you.
Yo, it was.
Oh man, I love it.
I can't say. I can't see what it says about it.
I can't even see it.
It's something out of, but yeah. Lito, shout out Chris Cotter. The only smart ones in Pro Pels Talk podcast. He's wasting his talent like KG on the Wolves.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I love that they gave us an example. See, I appreciate that type of insult is I appreciate because it didn't just say what a waste or like he went the next step of being like he's wasting his talent and then gave you an example of a wasted talent. That's next level.
I appreciate that.
That's somebody who's thinking before they just type something. Man, I have respect for people that think before they tweet.
Man, Justin texted me talking about he's calling me KG.
You know what, Ross? Actually, I started off the text. I didn't even give him the tweet.
I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about.
You KG. Like this guy's calling you Kevin Garnett.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Well deserved. Congratulations. You're the big winner here today. You're the big winner today.
Appreciate you, bro. Whatever your name was. I can't
some motto or whatever it was. He's always giving shit. So bad tweets debuting every Sunday night here. So shout out to appreciate y'all following. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Love to hear your thoughts on Brandon Ingram. Who should take it?
Pelicans should trade the pick.
Whoa. You did. I wish we would have gotten in that. I think they should trade the pick too. And then also Smoothie King Center renovations.
Let me upgrade you.
Yeah, we need it. Shout out Lala.
Shout out Five, man. Five say we need smoothie bowls. That's so it's acai right there.
Bowls, too,
bro. Oh my god!
I was about to quote to him the acai.
Please
bowls
get playa bowls. No, the Smoothie King bowls are trash.
Are they? They're bad,
bro. It's $14. Like
the playa bowls came out. There's one that by my house that just opened up. They're pretty good.
Where? Uptown?
Yeah.
You lying?
Well, I'm not lying. It's on it is on Magazine Street.
Say less. All right.
Are you coming uptown?
I'm not going to a basketball game to get a bowl. If you lost,
have you had a playa bowl?
Could I just get a fucking caniac with some cane sauce and a little
it's Brothers toast? Chicken in there. It's Brothers Chicken.
Man, somebody crushed Brothers Chicken today.
It's trash.
Wow, you're crushing it too. You said a lot of grease.
I only ever enjoyed that shit when I was drunk. Like, I'm not soberly eating that chicken.
No.
You're not sober at the game. So
exactly. Give me a Felipe's burrito.
Ooh, now we talking. Can we get wines in there?
No, Lito went to
whatever.
Lito went to the game with his mom. Got completely hammered.
Good.
Shout out Lito's mom.
Yeah. Big ticket, baby. The
big ticket. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see y'all on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Later.